When you think of TV shows, what comes to mind? You probably think of SpongeBob, Fresh Prince, and other classics such as these. But one genre that is widely known among the youth today is Japanese genre called anime. Now, though anime wasn't socially accepted back then, it's something that many people partake in today. I've been fascinated by this genre for as long as I can remember. I've watched many type of shows in my lifetime, but anime remains my most watched, and it dates back to even my preschool days. First, I will discuss the difference between Japanese anime and American cartoons. Secondly, I will discuss the history behind it, and finally, I will discuss my personal experience with it. From page to motion picture, anime remains one of the most well-known genres in television today. In our current day, anime is growing as one of the most widely loved forms in animations. There are many different avenues and ways to watch and even read it, but it wasn't always like this for America. In Japan, though the audience did cater to children, its main audience target was younger and older adults. You can watch any anime and see the emotional investment, the world building traits, and character development, and even drama. Anime has hundreds of genres from action adventure, romance, murder mystery, gore, school life, and more. The colors, tones, and artistic style cater to the show and its storytelling, whether it be bright colors, and oftentimes it's the simpler, clean cut drawings with soft pastel colors that set the mood. Most importantly, the main protagonist will always usually be human in some aspect. American cartoons are known for having children as the dominant and only audience. Cartoons such as Cat Dog, Ren and Stimpy, Looney Tunes are all well known TV shows, but these cartoons have a very loud colors and over exaggerated features because the cartoonists feel that they need these things to catch children's attention. Another main feature is that the characters created for American cartoons were imaginative creatures, hardly human at all. The reason for this was because of the introduction of anime in America for the first time. Now that I've discussed the difference between Japanese anime and American cartoons, I will discuss the history behind the genre. In 1960, Astro Boy was the first anime to be introduced by America by a man named Fred Ladd, who was just a producer at the time. But it goes even further back, with the earliest verifiable films dating back to 1906. The word anime didn't even begin catching on until around the 70s. By the 80s, the word anime was widely used in Japan and America to refer to, well, anime. As the years went by, more and more Americans started becoming interested in anime. After the failure of Astro Boy, however, there were no television channels that would air anything. At that time, the only way to be able to access anime would be to 1. Japanese yourself, so to say, with a subscription of Nippon Books, or 2. Have a Japanese friend who had a subscription to Nippon Books. Nippon Books were a company that distributed anime in Japan and ordered directly from there. They distributed manga series. They were basically a library of all types of anime. But if you had no access to this, you'd have to live in LA, and you'd have to live near Little Tokyo where they had access to that. With all this happening, it still wasn't until the 90s when anime started making more dominant presence in the public. In fact, in New York, the first anime convention was held. It, of course, was just a small area where manga and anime shows were sold, still raw and untranslated. Subbing was also first introduced in the 90s. A sub is known as having subtitles, meaning it still had the original voice actors with English subtitles on the screen that were completely edited into a read-along without having to use a translation magazine. Disney, during the time, started noticing the fan base for anime and decided to contract with Studio Ghibli for international dubbing and distribution. However, at the same time, Miramax ended up taking over Disney and taking more control of production within the company. Harvey Weinstein was the owner at the time and was known in the television and production world as a man who would cut and butcher films. Hayao Miyazaki, who was the owner of the creator for Studio Ghibli, was terrified that Weinstein would ruin the first movie of productions, Princess Mononoke. Miyazaki flew to New York to have a meeting, but before they could even have the meeting, Weinstein received what is known as the no-cut sword, which is pretty much a note saying that he cannot edit or cut the films at all. After some research, though, it came to light that Miyazaki's producer is the one who left the sword, not Miyazaki. Miyazaki stated, "Although I did not go to New York to meet this man, this Harvey Weinstein, and I was bombarded with this aggressive attack, all these demands for cuts, I defeated him." Now that we've learned about the history of anime, I will discuss the impact it's had on my personal experience. Anime has always given me something to do and watch. It's always given me a purpose. There's so many shows out there, and even though I never watched them all, they're all still good. One in particular would be Hunter x Hunter. It was truly such a well done and wonderfully produced anime filled with twists and turns and shocking character developments. Anime has given me a lot of laughs, a lot of memories, and a lot of excitement. There's an anime for everyone. Whether you're a romance, comedy person, a horror person, or just a lo-fi person, I guarantee you there's an anime that fits that category. There's anime at all different takes, short animes ranging from 7 to 8 episodes, or for people who really want to grind, there are animes that range from 400 to 1,000 episodes. I personally believe that you should give it a try. I believe anime is truly a once-in-a-lifetime experience, something that really lets you connect with a culture that's so creative. It really lets you see what goes on in the minds of the creator, with such creators who write such beautiful masterpieces. Today, I've discussed the difference between anime and cartoons. Second, I discussed the history of anime. And third, I discussed how it affects me personally. From page to motion picture, anime remains one of the most well-known genres of television today. In conclusion, anime is something I believe most people should try at least once, even though it's not for you. Whatever the case, as stated by Reiko Mikumi from another, it's just pathetic to give up on something just before you give it a shot.